The reason I haven't uploaded in ages is because I've had the video clips, but I lost my editing software due to some crazy, I don't want to talk about it, it was a scary time in my life. But here's a quick video of me doing a setup. It's just going to be a bunch of time lapses to see a before and after of a new setup, some new monitors, all that kind of crazy stuff, desk mount, wicked, cool. It's just time lapses and music. I'm going to be back to normal vlogs, hopefully when I have something interesting to record. I love you, goodbye. So here's what the setup looked like before. There was two monitors, both of them very different, on these little shelf drawer things that I use to store stuff. And yeah, there's wires all over the place. It wouldn't be a proper before and after video unless I made it look as horrible as possible at the start. But yeah, this is what I was working on before I did any of these changes. This is underneath the desk. My PC is all as sexy as ever. Wires are all over the place. But let's fix this shit. So here I am just getting ready to take everything off my desk, taking out all the wires, everything that's in a complete mess. The monitors, taking one off there, gonna take the other one off and move all those drawers, move the keyboard, move the mouse, move the headphones, move all the wires, move everything out the way so I can start the build for my new setup. Now the mounts that I had for my desk for the two unit monitors were VESA compatible. The problem is my monitors weren't, so the mount I had needed VESA compatible monitors, so I had to get an adapter for both of my monitors so that they could actually mount onto the desk mount that I had bought. And this is setting up one of them. I bought two identical ones for my two non-VESA compatible monitors. Here you can see the sort of thing that it's going to be working with. It's two like a U shape and an N shape going on the top and the bottom of the monitor, clipping around it, and then the screws, the four screws, are aligned with the VESA compatible mount. And that was the plan. It definitely didn't go according to plan, but we'll find out later with me trying to do some reading even though I'm illiterate. Now these adapters for my two monitors were definitely the hardest part, because you had to get the sizing right. It was different for each monitor. You had to get the sizing of the monitor from the top to bottom, and also the sizing from the back to the front, because it had a sort of clip thing, and both my monitors completely different, so I had to mess around with this so many times in order to get them right. I completely didn't get it right the first like 3 times, so I had to reset it 3 or 4 times, unscrew everything with the I don't know what it's called, the spanner. That's the one, the adjustable spanner that I had. It was just a pain, a lot of screwing, and it was much harder than actually doing the mount itself, but it had to be done. It didn't go according to plan though, so peak. So here we see the adapter along with the VESA compatible mount on the back of my first monitor, which all looked good. So now to move on to the second one.
6.5 hours later.
Literally just repeated the exact same process and got the mount ready for the second one. Here we see all the parts that came with the actual desk mount itself for the monitors, and this was very confusing because there was a clamp version and also a stand version. I wanted to use the clamp because I felt it was more secure and looked a lot better than the stand, and I didn't know what went with which. The instructions were quite ambiguous, so I was just mainly spending 5 or 10 minutes just looking at everything, thinking what the hell is this, where does it go and why does it exist. That long thing is the arm on which the monitors would be held, which was also quite an interesting discovery, as in you would have to screw them to tighten them, and they were so tight I could hardly move them, so I'd had to get the I forgot what it's called, and the Allen key, that's the one, the Allen key. Had to get the Allen key out and I had to mess around with that, and here's me trying to read again even though I can't. Here's a massive clamp thing that made no sense, nothing made sense, and I was confused. That's all you need to know. Yo, check me out, different camera angles, look at the production value. I had to measure the desk and make sure the clamp was right in the middle. I didn't want it lopsided, and also it took like 3 or 4 attempts to actually get the clamp down. It was very hard to twist it near the end. I don't know, I had to get help from my dad, which is quite embarrassing when you're 21 years old, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. And here's me bending over, which is a standard Saturday night for me, funnily enough. Right, here's the bit I needed help with. This clamp screw thing took so much effort to actually turn when it got near the end. At the start it's perfectly fine, making sure it was all aligned, but near the end it was literally like trying to twist I don't know, a lollipop from a bear. That's a good enough analogy. Yeah, it was solid. Like, it wasn't even anywhere near tight at this point, as you can tell, and I was still struggling quite a bit. So I got the backup pin, got the big guns. This is what it looked like once the clamp was attached firmly and the rod was erect. Here I am trying to apply the arm on which the monitors themselves would mount. There'd be VESA compatible mounts at the end of both of these arms. I was just trying to unscrew it because it was very tight at this point, and I had to actually get it turned a bit and get it onto the erect arm, which is not the arm, the stand, sorry. Had to get it through there, and then I had to tighten it down so that it didn't just slide up and down like, I'm not going to make any more innuendo jokes. But yeah, this was a struggle. And I finally managed to get it done near the end, which was yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what this video is. I don't know what I'm saying. I do apologize, but then I don't, because I don't. Yeah, that's what's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, what we've witnessed today has been a failure. I've managed to get this one mounted with the adapter, but I'm not gonna lie, it's not very aesthetically pleasing. This one, just no, the adapter got on, but as soon as I tried to mount it onto this, it was too heavy, it was too fat, and it just came flying off. So I'm gonna buy at least one new monitor, maybe two, depending on the budget. And when I do, I'll get back to it, and this setup's gonna look 10 times better. None of this shit hanging off. It's gonna be amazing. But until then, safe. And then the new monitor arrived. This is what it looked like in all of its glory. I'm using it right now. It's absolutely beautiful, frameless. The satisfying feeling of peeling off that sticker, which was harder than I thought near the end. And these were perfectly VESA compatible, meant no adapters, none of that hanky-panky, hunky-dory bullshit. Just screw straight in. Here I am screwing my monitors in a non-sexual way because that would be very weird. As you can see, straight in, no adapters, none of that hanky-panky, hunky-dory, none of that lubrication, no oil, no WD-40, no water, which is not a very good lubricant anyway. Yep, screwing and screwing and screwing. And a couple of moments of insertion later, here we have the monitor on the actual mount. I have to say, at this point I was thinking there's no way I'm just gonna have my other monitor the way it is. I'm gonna have to order an identical one to this one, because look at the difference. It's frameless, it's beautiful, there's nothing around the sides, it's everything I could ever hope for in a monitor, and then some. Here's the final product before I bought the second monitor. So this is my old monitor and my new one, and at this point it's obvious I'm gonna buy a new monitor. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. 2 days later, my new monitor arrived because of the glory of Amazon Prime. And now may I present to you my fully complete, almost, because I can't be bothered with cable management just yet, 2018 version 2.0 of the setup video. Enjoy.